It's September! To me, that means three things. Beautiful autumn mornings, wearing scarves, and lastly, back to school. Now, I'm old enough and wise enough that I don't actually have to go to school anymore, but going back to school ties in really well with our theme this week, which is, should feminism be taught in schools? Let's start with the practicalities because they're the not so interesting bit. I don't think feminism should be taught as like a standalone subject. I don't think you should get an exam on it at the end of the year. And feminists don't all have hive mind, right? So we don't all think and believe the same things. So maybe lay off the academic teaching. But I do, however, think that feminist ideals should be sprinkled liberally throughout the curriculum like some sort of delicious icing sugar. But what would a so-called feminist curriculum be like? I know some people will think that teaching feminism in schools would involve brainwashing children to become lesbians and sacrifice male children in ritual ceremonies. No, that's not what I mean. My ideal curriculum would be one that didn't overlook the achievements of women, for a start. Did you know that women actually invented loads of really awesome shit? No, neither did I, because I only ever heard about men's achievements. Did you know just how many boss female artists there are and have been? Well, I only heard about male artists and their work. And how many books did I study that were written by female authors? 1. And that was in my second year of A-levels. My ideal curriculum would also include a better sex education that didn't focus solely on heterosexual sex. It would include different sexualities and also touch on the emotional aspects of sex and relationships. We did do an entire week specifically on the subject of sex education in schools, so I'm not going to reiterate all that now, but there's our playlist for those videos. I also really think that we should start using PSHE lessons properly. So in the UK, all schools teach a compulsory lesson called something like PSHE, which stands for Personal, Social and Health Education. It's sometimes PSCE, and the C is for citizenship or a similar name like that. As far as I'm concerned, you may as well call this subject life skills or the most important things you will ever learn in school, aka how the world works and how to treat other people. And I think we should actually start using PSHE to teach these important things. We should be teaching children about sex and about consent. We should teach them about living within a budget and how to write a meal plan, about how to find a job, how to write a CV, about gender and sexuality and how this is fluid, about how bodies come in all shapes and sizes and they're all fucking boss, about bullying and how you shouldn't do it, about looking after yourself mentally and emotionally, about where you can get help when you need it, about relationships and recognising abuse in them and how to deal with that. And about casual racism, which, let me tell you, is pretty fucking endemic in a lot of state schools. About the basic fact of inequality in the world, that some social groups have a much easier time than others, and how we need to realise that, recognise our own privileges, and work to change it. We should teach people about how to pay your bills on time and how to vote. Some of you are probably rolling your eyes and thinking I sound like a wistful, hippie liberal preaching this touchy-feely education where we all call our teachers by their first names. But you know what? I really don't give a shit, because school plays such a vital role in a child's development. And if you want a happy, healthy community to live in, then you need to teach kids how to act like decent human beings and how to take care of each other. Because, you know, I look around society and I see ableism and I see sexism and I see transphobia and cissexism and racism and homophobia, and I see all this shit, and it all happens in schools every single day. And if a kid says something really fucked up when they're little and nobody corrects them on it and nobody says, hey, that's not okay to say that, let's sit down and discuss why, then they will keep on doing and saying that. As Subi pointed out in her excellent video, our education system in the UK is also really classist, and there are a whole lot of reasons why, which would take me too long to explain. That's another video for another day. It's also really racist, so I'm not saying that I think feminism is like the only kind of social justice that I want to be taught in schools. I want equality to be taught in schools, and I want equality to be enacted in schools. I mean, for example, I really enjoyed my history courses at school, but they were so incredibly just like, yay, white people. We learned nothing about effectively the cultural genocide white people have inflicted on pretty much every non-white culture we have ever come into contact with. We never learned anything to do with like British people being racist, so we learned about like the fall of apartheid in South Africa. but we always got to pretend that, like, it was the other white people, not ours, because God forbid we would ever have to feel uncomfortable learning about our shitty, racist heritage. I cannot count the number of times in schools that I've heard students say, "That's so gay," or call someone queer or a faggot, or calling someone a downy. And did I ever witness someone being disciplined for that? Like, fuck I did. Failing to teach children why this kind of stuff is wrong only leads to adults who think that that kind of behaviour is okay. And then those adults get big, important jobs, and look where we are now, a country being governed by a series of bigoted, privileged idiots who make life shit for everybody else. Wicked. I don't know about you, but I'd really rather things didn't carry on like that. To sum up, I am cross at our education system in general, and the entire thing needs rehauling. I am also too cross to be articulate, as you might have noticed, so I need you guys to help me out. Tell me about your school experiences. Do you feel like a grounding in social justice and equality is needed in schools? Did you witness any intolerant, offensive behaviour from staff or pupils? Do you feel like your subjects and your education skipped out a lot of really important stuff? Let me know.